Karma brand station.
It's time for Marquette College Game Day, powered by ESPN Milwaukee.
On the floor, Marquette gets it back. James, open three, good.
Got it.
Unbelievable. They stole that three.
Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, Matrix Basement Finishing, and Marquette Athletics.
Fox in the front court, 30-footer, no good. Marquette wins it. Fox missed it, and Marquette wins. Nothing else matters. Marquette wins in overtime, the highest scoring Big East game in Marquette history.
Now broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Matt Yeazel and Will Sommers.
A special away edition of Marquette College Game Day as the Golden Eagles are at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis taking on the Butler Bulldogs, looking to bring the momentum from what I would say at least is their best win of the season on Monday. Matt Yeazel, Will Sommers with you here, a in-studio edition of Marquette College Game Day. How about that? Normally with you at Fiserv Forum. But excited to talk about this Marquette team, right? Our last show was on Monday prior to that Providence game, and what a game it was. 105-104 overtime victory for Marquette. Nigel James Jr. coming out party. If it already was, this whole season
just end the show
already
after
was.
that. Nigel
Absolutely.
James Jr.
I mean, come on. 38 points. It feels like he's setting a career high. Now it's going to be tough for him to set another career high. But what a night, and how fun that game was. First of all, would you say that was Marquette's best win of the season, Will?
I would say so, because the downfall of them this entire year has been them just falling through the cracks in the second half, and we didn't see that this game. Like, it felt like they had a pulse throughout the entire second half, which was fun. Still, the first 5 minutes, just never fun for them. I think they blew. They were up 7 at halftime, and then they were down. They were only up by like 3-4 minutes into the second half. So that's definitely something that we still need to work on. But I completely agree. Down the stretch, when things got tough, we saw them play a brand of basketball that we haven't seen yet.
Absolutely. The similar feelings of, man, that looked like a really good team in the first half, and then coming out of halftime, those similar fears came out in that game, right? But then they bounced back, and then they got punched again, and then they bounced back again, and just what a performance it was, and what an ending to regulation, by the way, for Nigel James Jr., a freshman getting fouled on a three-pointer and nailing all 3 free throws with an icing of a timeout in there as well. I mean, just the poise that he's already shown, it really, really excites you, obviously just for the rest of this season and making this a fun rest of the season after a tough start, but it really, really excites you for the future of this Marquette team.
Yeah, and obviously he had 38 points, which is a record for any freshman at Marquette. But what impressed me most was how he held the team together down the stretch. Like you mentioned, those 3 free throws to force overtime. He had 8 assists and 1 turnover. Turnovers have been a huge problem for Marquette all season. So for him to be able to dish the ball to his teammates that much without turning the ball over is huge. And most importantly, there was no panic when the lead vanquished. Like we said, Marquette started to let them get back into the game, and it was like, oh my gosh, I've seen this story a million times. But no, Nigel James, like, he was the closer. We talked about it last week. Who needs to be the closer? Who do you want the ball to feel light in their hands when the game's on the line? And I don't think the ball felt heavy for him at all.
I'm glad you brought up the closer point, because a friend of the program, Ben Steele, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, does a great job. Of course, the first 2 sentences of his recap from that game go like this: Marquette has figured out what to do in the clutch. Just give the ball to freshman guard Nigel James Jr. and let the budding superstar cook.
It wasn't even like they gave the ball to him. Like, it found him sometimes. Oh, yeah. Like, there was a couple times where somebody missed a shot. The ball trickled right to him, pump fake, guy jumps wide open 3. It was almost like by chance. It's like a closer, I feel like in basketball, it can't be forced, right? The moment just comes to you. And it felt like in that moment, Nigel James discovered that he was the guy that's going to finish out wins for this basketball team.
Absolutely. 13 for 20, 4 for 6 from deep. It's a few games in a row now where he is just knocking down 3-pointers, shooting very efficient from the free throw line. It's just an outstanding game, and it's such an exciting development for this team. And overall, just an exciting game. I think it was the second game all season. Marquette had 5 players score in double figures, so it wasn't all just him. Right? They scored 105 points. They
if you
needed
told
somebody
me
else.
week 1 of the season that they scored over 100 points, I would have told you you're crazy.
Oh yeah,
that was
for
awesome.
sure.
Yeah,
100%. Another positive development I want to point out: Demarius Owens off the bench. He's becoming a consistent force, which is something we could never say about him. Right? This wasn't his best career game, but 12 points, 4 for 7 off the bench. It's getting rebounds all over the place too. It's becoming consistent with him.
His impact multiple times throughout that game went beyond the court, too. Playing in front of the home crowd, he had a couple electrifying dunks, notably an and one poster dunk, and then he had a alley-oop. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody at Pfizer Forum jump that high before. And then the three-pointer to end the first half. Like, his play on the court. That was
pretty.
Yes.
That was exciting.
It's ironic, too, that the guy coming off the bench, when he gets on the court, he's energizing everybody else that's not on the court.
Getting back to the second half point, by the way, we have a clip here from Nigel James Jr.'s post-game press conference at Pfizer Forum talking about how Shaka Smart and the team have really been harping on their energy coming out of the halftime break.
I mean, obviously, we've been in that situation a lot of times where we come out the half and we're a little dead. So we've been harping on just us coming out with energy, not getting complacent, because at the end of the day, we've seen teams make runs, and we know we're capable of being any team. We can make runs too. So it's kind of just making sure we stay at it and just keep pouring into each other energy, confidence, and just trusting each other.
So at home especially, I think I agree with them. I think they are capable of beating pretty much anybody. Obviously, when UConn comes to town, that might be a different story. But I think they're saying the right things. And it was still kind of an issue against Providence, but they overcame that. And now the question is going to be, can they consistently figure out this issue of why is the energy lacking coming out of halftime?
I think it's something that eventually gets fixed, because we started out the season with, hey, this team can't play offense, and then it was, okay, they could play offense in the first half. They still can't do it in the second half. And now it's, okay, for the last 10 minutes they can play some pretty good offense, but we're still missing that gap early in the second half. I think eventually they find themselves, and Matt, looking back and watching some of the tape from that game, it just felt like everybody knew where everyone else was. Like guys like Ben Gold, Royce Parham, getting the ball inside on easy dunks and layups. It's something that I think is completely transformational from what we saw the first week of the season.
Absolutely. Well, Marquette, again, on the road at Butler tonight, and on the road in the Big East has not been a pretty story thus far for Marquette this season, but they face some pretty stiff competition. Honestly, the best teams the Big East has to offer. What do they have to do to transfer this momentum onto the road tonight? We'll get into that after this. This is Marquette College Game Day on your home of the Golden Eagles, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
Marquette College Game Day continues after this. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
Get ready for the ultimate freestyle experience. Monster Jam Freestyle Mania, presented by Spin Master. For the first time ever, Monster Jam trucks team up with freestyle motocross bikes to deliver gravity-defying skills and thrills. See one-of-a-kind FMX bikes designed to match your favorite iconic Monster Jam trucks. Cheer on your favorite team. 2 times the freestyle action. Full sand family fun. Coming to Pfizer Forum January 31st and February 1st. Brought to you by BKD Tires. Visit monsterjam.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Buy 4 windows, get 4 free, and 0% financing for 60 months, $1,000 off, plus a bonus vacation voucher. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
People say buying a home in winter is tough.
But fewer buyers means less competition, and motivated sellers can mean better opportunities.
This is Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
And I'm Lindsay Bendler. When the perfect home appears, our team at Tony Wendorf & Associates helps you move fast, even during the snow.
Start your home journey today with our white glove service by simply searching online, Tony Wendorf.
A real estate team that always leads with faith and gratitude.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
Start the year moving, not hurting. If your joint pain has been slowing you down, then listen up. There is a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on hold. Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics here in Milwaukee offer regenerative treatments designed to help your body repair the areas causing pain. Knees, hips, shoulders, or back, wherever it hurts. Instead of an invasive operation that takes you out of commission for months, these treatments are done right in the office. You walk in, you walk out, and you get on with your day. No 3 to 6 months recovery. Picture this instead. You're moving better, you're feeling stronger, actually planning the year that you want because you finally took care of that pain the smart way. Game-changing regenerative treatment from QC Kinetics. January is your clean slate. So make it count. Call now for your free consultation at QC Kinetics. Call 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Come grow with us at Glenroy. For more than 6 decades, our family-owned company has built its reputation on quality, reliability, and providing strong career opportunities in our community. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Here, you'll find competitive wages, a clean, modern workspace, fully vested 401k, yearly bonus award, and the chance to build a manufacturing career with purpose. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers.
This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Marquette getting out of the Milwaukee cold just to go to tropical Indianapolis tonight, taking on the Butler Bulldogs at the iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse, a place Marquette's done pretty well in the last few years. We'll get a little bit more into Butler in our final segment, but talking a little bit more about that Providence win for Marquette on Monday, on MLK Day. One of the biggest questions you had coming out of that, Will, is has Marquette learned how to win ugly? So I want to hear your point on this.
I think they've realized that they will never play 40 minutes of pretty basketball. I think and you can see it in the way that they respond. They can always, they always just have this like sense of we're never out of it. And I think that's something they tried to reject in their first couple games where they lost these leads down the stretch was that, hey, we're down, we're out, right? Like they start to lose the lead and then they kind of just, give up and take plays off. But now I think, like especially in this last game, they've embraced like the fact that they're going to give up a lead in the second half and they're going to have to work their ass off and battle back to win. And I think like in a season that's down, at least it makes the game super exciting from a in-person fan standpoint or anyone watching on television. Obviously, a stress-free win would be nice here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it feels like the past couple, at least at some point in the entire game, have been close. But I think they're really starting to embrace, and even the team's reaction after the win against Xavier at home and the win against Providence at home, you could just see this sense of relief, and it kind of gives you this brand of basketball. Like, we're just going to bring you down to our level, and we're going to out-grit you until we beat you.
I agree with parts of that. I think, if you look at the box score, right? Like Marquette forced 17 Providence turnovers and only turned it over 6 times themselves, even in an overtime game, right? So theoretically, that is something Shaka is probably going to like frame and say, let's do this every night, right? But defensively, I think Marquette has always kind of liked chaos and not having it be pretty, right? Putting pressure on the ball, scoring in transition. It led to a good handful of points on those turnovers for Marquette. And offensively, I think they're starting to clean things up, right? Like Demarius Owens in particular, a lot of his success has come like in the half court. You mentioned all those dunks. All of those dunks are coming in half court offense for Marquette. I think in general, Marquette's half court offense has improved dramatically in the last few games. But there are still those issues, right? Those boneheaded mistakes and plays where you're like, man, like it was so good these last few possessions. The Villanova game, I think, is the biggest example of that, where it's like Nigel's going off, other guys are stepping up, they're getting all these looks from deep, and then they make a couple of mistakes, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, like especially in the second half against Providence, one thing that I noticed was that the issues obviously, like we said, didn't disappear, but they didn't doom them this time, right? Like the Providence shot very well. They shot over 50% from the field. Marquette had a bunch of defensive lapses, like you said. That's kind of been their weakness in the second half. The wobble still showed up, but they did not spiral. And for the first time, the bad stretch for Marquette didn't write the ending. Even against Xavier, the way they closed that game out, you're kind of just like feeling uneasy in your stomach. But the fact that they went down, and we've seen it so many times this season where they've just rolled over and it's been a painful loss. Like, to see them fight back like that and show the amount of energy that they did was very inspiring to me as a fan.
All right, Will. So another road game. Marquette, we are almost into February, and Marquette has not won a game on the road, or a neutral site game for that matter. They had a couple in the non-con, 0-6 in true road games. And quite frankly, up until this last game, we harped on DePaul plenty on Monday. Up until then, none of them were even remotely close. But they were all against very good opponents. So tonight at Butler, a Butler team that, as we'll get into, is competing and still has some hopes maybe for the rest of their season, is certainly not as good as a St. John's at MSG or a UConn in Connecticut. How does Marquette find, these issues we're talking about of coming out of the halftime break, not having energy? That's exactly what we saw at DePaul, right? And they didn't have the home crowd behind them to find that energy when they didn't have it, right? How does Marquette handle that on the road at Butler?
I think it's really, like we mentioned earlier with the turnovers and forcing turnovers, is just limiting the mistakes where you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, right? Like, I feel like we were both in the building for the DePaul game, and you felt the crowd playing into the mistakes that Marquette was making, where whether it was the groans from the Marquette faithful or the cheers from the DePaul fans, since it was pretty split there. Yeah, I think they just have to limit that momentum and kind of silence out that noise, because like, the bottom line is, when they are playing mistake-free basketball, they're not a team that you want to play with, especially if they're playing a team that has a lot to lose. Like we mentioned, Butler, apparently it might be a must-win game. We'll get into that later for them. But, yeah, it's something that I think is really going to change for them, and I think tonight's the night. Like, I know I've said it a couple times where I'm like, the tide's going to change tonight. They're going to turn things around. What we saw last game is going to transfer into this game. But just the way that they responded in the second half against Providence just has me feeling very good and inspired that tonight, regardless of the situation that they're in, they'll respond to adversity and come out with a win against Butler tonight.
One of the biggest things for me is going to be free throws. I feel like the first few games of the season, it was like free throws were the only thing they were doing well.
I think you said that at one point. Yes. Like, the one thing that this team has that the other Marquette teams have not in the past is that they can make their free throws.
Because some of these guys' stats lines, like, they're scoring in double figures, but 3/4 of the points are coming from free throws. Like, it was ridiculous. And now they're really struggling from the line, particularly late. Nigel knocking those three down was just like,
oh my God.
Oh,
I mean, could you imagine if Ben Gold had to make more than one free throw at the end of that game? Like, if we had to make two to take the lead there late in the game, like, would it not been pretty?
The numbers haven't been good in the last few weeks for sure from the line, and that's just a huge thing on the road, right? The ability, especially for a player like Chase Ross, who we've talked about, like, sometimes he might not be the prettiest offensive player to watch, but you can give him the ball. He can drive in the lane and get fouled, maybe finish it, maybe not, but he can go to the line and get points there. But that strategy just hasn't worked for him because he hasn't been shooting that well from the line. So that's something I'm definitely going to be watching from them on the road for the rest of the season, really. But I think also just taking over this identity that you now have, which is led by Nigel James Jr. I don't think that's like crazy. I don't think that's prisoner of the moment, if you will, like saying that this team is now led by him, even with Chase. I think Chase Ross would be happy to go back into a role that he was last season and in past years.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lot of glimpses of that in the last game against Providence. Like, Chase Ross looked like the Chase Ross of last season. Like, he was getting steals, he was running the break, he wasn't making the offense be facilitated through him. Like, he just was kind of hands-off, let Nigel do it, and, I mean, look at the result. Like you said, late in the game, and what Ben Steele said, give the ball to Nigel and get the hell out of the way. Either he's going to score or he's going to find you, so just make sure the ball is in his hands when you need to score.
Chase Ross had 7 steals, and weren't those all in the first half, too?
Yeah, it felt like it. Maybe there was one in the second half, but I remember I was there for the first half, and I was like, wow. That's
6 assists, too. And you're right. I mean, Nigel shot way more shots than him. Even Royce Parham, who played great, by the way. We haven't mentioned him. And Ben Gold, all these guys are shooting equally, but Nigel is clearly the leader offensively now. And I think Marquette, now that they're like, okay, finally, we know what we are as a team and as an offense, that's going to carry over onto the road. But you never know. It's tough to play in the Big East on the road. It is.
And we see it, nothing makes sense in the Big East. So
nothing
who
makes
knows
sense
what's going to happen
whatsoever. All right, let's get into this Butler squad. Is it a must-win for them? Do they have NCAA tournament hopes? I don't know about that. Thad Matta, any Badger fans remember him? Well, we'll get into Butler and what Marquette needs to do to get a win tonight. After this, as we wrap up the show on Marquette College GameDay on 94.5 ESPN.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College GameDay. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
Grab the dial and crank it up, baby, because Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is spinning its Winning Hits collection. Over the next 3 months, you could win a share of over $1 million in prizes. On top of thousands in cash and reward play, you could win one of 3 new Ford vehicles in the grand finale drawings on March 27th. Just play with your rewards card to earn entries. Press play on the Winning Hits collection, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. Well, here we are. It is 2026. Remember last year when you said never again? Did it work? You didn't start your business to spend lots of time doing bank reconciliations, cash flow projections, or inventory analysis. Let us help you keep your New Year's resolution to stay on top of your finances and keep your books up to date. Don't do the same thing this year and expect different results. Start the year off on the right foot by calling the Neal Group to help you understand your numbers and make them better. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call 414-325-2040 now to set up a meeting to see how you can make 2026 the best year ever. The first meeting is free.
On the roster,
that's
it says whatever his real name is, and then parentheses,
414-325-2040, or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's NEAL group.net.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
The Milwaukee Weight Loss Program has been able to change the lives of thousands of people with this incredible metabolic reset program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. There's no better time than now to give yourself the gift of a new you in this new year. Schedule your free consultation now by visiting MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Homer here. I'm starting 2026 off right with Milwaukee Weight Loss. Their team is full of great people who listen to me and my goals through the consultation process. Their program is the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day, and many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Call for your free weight loss consultation, 262-235-3980, 262-235-3980, or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com, MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
This is Marquette College GameDay, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Wrapping things up here on Marquette College GameDay, a road edition of the show. Matt Yeazel, Will Sommers with you here in the studio. We're taking you up to your network pregame coverage with Gabe Neitzel. He's on the scene at Buffalo Wild Wings at the Marquette Watch Party on South 27th Street. So tune in for all the numbers that you need for this matchup tonight. Homer and Tony, of course, with the call at Hinkle Fieldhouse as Marquette takes on Butler. All right, Will, let's look into Butler. And I start with this article we've mentioned from the Butler Collegian. And as I've mentioned on the show, I'm a supporter of student media. I was a member of the Marquette Wire when I was a Golden Eagle student, but a statement in this is that this is a must-win game for Butler to hang on to any NCAA tournament hopes they might have. And that is a pretty bold statement for a Butler team that is 12-7 on the season, 3-5 in the Big East, and that's with a 2-game winning streak coming into the night. They did win at Seton Hall. Credit to them. That's a big win. And then they did take care of DePaul at home on Tuesday. Give me your thoughts on this Butler team and head coach Thad Matta.
Definitely think it's a little early in the year to start declaring must-wins. I feel like that's more of a conference tournament type time frame ordeal. If it is truly a must-win for them in January, it's probably not a must-win. Like, I don't know if if you're fighting for your season in January, I don't know if you have much hope after. But yeah, Thad Matta, I think like the question I always think is he still a high-level coach? He had all those years at Ohio State, and I think he does know how to coach, but I don't think his roster is really fit to excel in his coaching style.
Yeah, I think I agree. Of the many big-name head coaches in the Big East, he's probably lower on the list at this stage in his career. Maybe not in terms of full career accomplishments, but yeah, Butler is just one of those teams that makes you scratch your head. Like, there is talent on the team. Finley Bizjack leads them in most stats. Michael Ajayi has been a monster in terms of scoring and on the glass. He was the Gonzaga transfer, I believe. So they get talented players year in and year out, but it's just been such kind of maybe even a little less than mediocrity for Butler. So it's interesting. Do you have a score prediction tonight?
We're going high scoring again. Let's go 95.
Wow.
89 Marquette.
There we go. I'll go a little more conservative. 80-75 Marquette. We're both going with the Golden Eagles to get their first road victory of the year. All right, that does it for Marquette College Game Day. For Matt Yeazel and Will Sommers here, Gabe Neitzel is next on the network pregame show. And again, Homer and Tony have the call from Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the game. Go Marquette.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. You know that saying, new year, new you. Well, how about new year, new